After pardoning over 1,500 January the 6th rioters, including more than 300 people who pleaded guilty to either assaulting or obstructing law enforcement, convicted felon and US President Donald Trump is trying to reassert himself as the law and order president. But not by sending those rioters back to prison or quitting his constant attacks on the courts and the FBI. No, instead by calling for a mandatory death penalty for anyone who kills a police officer.
I have already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer, and tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.
A reminder, this isn't just the man who pardoned hundreds of violent criminals on his first day back in office. This is also the man who incited those violent criminals to storm the Capitol 4 years ago, who told them to, quote, fight like hell on January the 6th. And fight they did. Since that day, a total of 5 Capitol police officers have died as a result of that attack, including Officer Brian Sicknick, who suffered from 2 strokes after being assaulted by rioters, and 4 more officers who later tragically died by suicide. As for the officers that survived that horrific day, many of them have since left the police force altogether. That includes Aquilino Gonell, a former sergeant with the Capitol Police who was beaten, punched, and kicked by rioters and even attacked with a US flagpole. Since then, Sergeant Gonell has become an ardent and outspoken critic of President Trump, going as far as to oppose him on the DNC stage last summer. And he joins me now. Sergeant Gonell is an Iraq War veteran, author of American Shield, the immigrant sergeant who defended democracy. Thank you so much for coming on Mehdi Unfiltered.
Thank you for having me.
So, last week, the country watched, I'm sure you watched, as Donald Trump stood in front of Congress and called for a mandatory death penalty for anyone who kills a police officer. As a police officer who was almost killed yourself by his supporters, who he sent to the Capitol, and who he later pardoned, what was your reaction when you heard him speak in front of Congress and make that pledge?
I mean, I had to laugh because, I mean, this is coming from the person that claimed that he's on the side of police officers, yet he pardoned about 1,500 people who assaulted police officers on his behalf under his banner. It's insane. He has no shame about it, but he thinks that everybody likes him, but whatever makes him feel happy, I guess that's what it is.
Do you think rank and file police officers, your former colleagues in particular, but police officers across the country, do you think they buy that he is on their side, that he's doing this to protect them, given what we all saw on January 6, 2021?
The vast majority, they still do, because they were not affected by what happened on January 6, unfortunately. And I guess that's a positive that they were not there. But then again, you have some of my own colleagues, at the Capitol that still support him, or pretend that he had nothing to do with it. In my opinion, he is responsible. He is culpable of what led up to January 6th and the aftermath. And, he cannot say anything that would change my view on that, because he sat at the White House. And as the event were happening, instead of calming the situation, he continued to tweet about it and making it more volatile for us on that day. And while he was watching it on TV, we were fighting for our lives, trying to protect elected officials, your elected officials, and everybody else. We defended Nancy Pelosi just as much as we defended Kevin McCarthy. So it didn't matter to us who we were defending. It was just doing our jobs.
And briefly, if it's not too painful for you to recount to our viewers, you talked about defending them against a violent mob. And we've seen pictures of the attacks on you. What was it like for you on that day? What actually happened to you on that day?
I self-deployed from the Capitol Visitor Center all the way to the West Front when the original call for assistance happened over the radio. Immediately after I got to the West Front, I was attacked by Trump supporters. These are people who claimed to support the police, law and order, rule of law, yet they were the one attacking us, and now they feel like they are the victim of their own actions. Because of what I did to defend myself, my colleagues, and the Capitol, I sustained multiple injuries. Both my hands by midday were bloody and injured. My left arm is I needed surgery on my left arm and also my right foot. So 2 surgeries and on top of the mental health trauma that I sustained. So it's multiple people, roughly about 40 people assaulted me on that day.
40.
More than 40 people.
Liking this video? Then don't just watch, hit like, share and subscribe. And tap the bell so you never miss a video or live show. But if you want early access to exclusive content, then you have to head to Zeteo.com and subscribe now. You'll be supporting fearless, independent journalism.
And I sent you...
And they went to prison.
Some of them they did. Some of them actually, when he pardoned those people on the first day of his presidency, I was scheduled to be in court the next day. And I began to receive a lot of phone calls from my prosecutors, from the FBI agents who worked with me in the past, and also notification from the Bureau of Prison notifying me that these people were being released. You know, and that was a stab like in the heart, because we protected the Capitol, we protected our elected officials, we protected our democracy and our system of governance on that day, and yet here we are. I'm receiving all these phone calls, my phone blowing up, because these people have been pardoned by the president who claimed to be in the rule of law.
When you get
supporter.
that call, when your phone's blowing up, you're getting those texts that these people are being released, and the people you're about to go watch in court the next day, they're not even going to get prosecuted. How does that make you feel? But also, how worried were you about your own safety or security? These people, pretty violent people coming out of prison.
Devastating. I mean, you're talking about violent people that, you know, in court they were sounding remorseful, but now they are out for vengeance and retribution, like he says. I mean, we just here in D.C. we were harassed by the Proud Boy,
by Enrico Tarrio, who was also pardoned.
Who also was pardoned. And instead of doing something positive with their second chance at life, that's what they're doing, harassing the people who did their job on January 6th. And yes, it was scary. I didn't pay attention to, I just left the phone and I put it on Do Not Disturb because it was overwhelming. You have people, the media calling, you got the prosecutor, you got the Bureau of Prison. So it's all these things. So I just turned it off completely because at the end.
Were you surprised to see Tarrio turn up at your event in D.C. recently? I mean, they're very bold, these people now.
I mean,
they're feeling emboldened.
They feel emboldened because that's what the law and order guy told them. You know, again, this is a consequence of people not believing that Donald Trump is going to do what he says that he's going to do, but yet, we need to be cautious about it. You know, he pardoned these people, now he emboldened them, and they had, instead of doing something positive with their lives, with their second chance, that they decide to go back and harass the people who did the right thing on January 6th.
And a few weeks before the inauguration, Vice President J.D. Vance insisted on TV that no one who assaulted a police officer on January the 6th would be pardoned. Only the non-violent people would be released. Obviously, that wasn't the case. In fact, according to reporting from Axios, the Trump team was debating a more targeted approach to pardons until Trump himself said, quote, "F it, release them all."
Yeah.
Would it have made a difference if they'd just released the quote-unquote non-violent offenders, in your view?
Every single person that was prosecuted and was found culpable of what they did on January 6th by the court, by their peers, by the judges, they went through the process of judicial process. So for them to claim that they are the victim, that's insane. Because they were the one who came to the Capitol. They're the one who attacked the police officers. And just because we did the right thing, just because we tried to hold them accountable for their action, for the crimes that they did, that they themselves recorded themselves doing, they feel like they are the victim, and it's insane.
Another person who thinks he's the victim is, of course, Donald Trump, who's now carrying out a vendetta against people he thinks victimized him. Before coming into office, Joe Biden, as he was on his way out of office, pardon members of the January 6th committee to try and protect them from Trump's vengeance. Also, you and other police officers who testified at that committee. How did you feel receiving that kind of protection? And are you worried that Trump will find a different way to kind of target you and other people who he blames for kind of besmirching his reputation?
I mean, never in my life that I ever thought that here in America, for doing the right thing, I would need a pardon. At the end of the day, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't embellish what happened to me in my account.
It's on camera.
It's on camera. It's on video. My statement has been truthful from the get-go. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but to tell you that at the end of the day, we did our job. I didn't ask for a pardon. I welcome it because look at what Donald Trump is doing to the people who he feel like they had done something wrong. And instead of praising the police officer for their action on January 6th, which some of the officers themselves that were on January 6th were also at his inauguration, protecting him and his people.
What is that like? When you talk to your former colleagues, you left, I know that you left the force in 2022. What was it like for you, even after January the 6th? You were carried on, the police officers who you served with on that day carried on protecting Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz and Kevin McCarthy. What was that like? People who were throwing you under the bus publicly.
I mean, it's something that, for me, it was I couldn't circle it because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm a police officer, and yes, I will need to do my job impartially, you know, but it was hard mentally, physically, and emotionally because at the end of the day, we were there and we risked our lives to defend these people, elected officials who were running for their lives from the friendly mob of huggers and kissers.
The day of love.
The day of love. And then yet they decide to welcome this guy and his supporters and the people who committed the crimes against us with open arms, as if they're the heroes. Yeah. And for me, initially, it was hard. Sometimes I had to wait in my car for 10, 20 minutes because I was like, why do I need to go back in there? At the end of the day, these elected officials, they don't have the well-being of myself or my colleagues in mind when it comes to defending these unjustly mistreated people. To my recollection, they were the one attacking the police officer, not the other way around. Yeah. And they call us thugs and warriors or heroes to the mob or political prisoners. So if you look at it both ways, which one is it? Are they the victims or the heroes? And either those things, then who are they fighting against? Yeah. And it was us, the police officer. So they make it look like we were the bad guys of the whole event.
And not just making you look that way, as you say, the rewriting of history has been happening in front of our eyes. At the time, everyone in America saw it as what it was. Mm-hmm. Even Republicans condemned Trump, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, Lindsey Graham. Everyone was disowning Trump. Everyone knew it was bad. Over the time, thanks to Fox and social media and Trump, they've rewritten history now. And a recent CBS poll found only 31% of Republicans disapprove of what happened on January the 6th. That's down by more than 20 points over the last few years. A Washington Post poll found that 34% of Republicans believe the FBI organized an insurrection, not Trump supporters. How shocked are you by the way in which a big chunk of the American population has basically just rewritten history? How surprised are you to see that happening, given it's all on tape and you were there?
I mean, it's not surprising because this is what Donald Trump tells them every single day, that they're the victims, and it was okay. So if the President of the United States telling you that it was okay for you to do something, then you got free jail out of car to go on and do those things, and that's why they feel emboldened. Now, in terms of what any particular segment of the population think that it was normal, it was not normal. They would not be okay with Joe Biden supporters doing that. They would not be okay with Kamala Harris supporter doing that, especially in this January 6th, 2 months ago. So I highly doubt that they will be okay. These are the first people calling for 1776 again. Yes, will be them. So they are now okay with somebody else doing it, but they're okay with Donald Trump doing it.
You wrote an op-ed for the New York Times in January, just before Trump's inauguration, writing that it is, quote, hard to witness a rich white man get rewarded for treachery while I'm punished for fulfilling my duty. Isn't the problem, though, that it's, as you say, the Trump supporters don't think you're being punished. They think they're the victims, not the person who was actually attacked, lost their job. But you also write in the op-ed that some of your own relatives still support Donald Trump. What are your conversations like with family members who saw what happened to you, know about your surgeries, and still support the man who sent them on?
I just don't talk politics with them. Like, you need to walk away from me, or I walk away from them, because at the end of the day, look.
Do they know what happened to you?
Yeah, they do.
Who do they blame for that?
Irregularities in the election. I'm like, dude, this happened to me. I'm telling you because it happened to me. And you know it because secondhand, because you watch it. Somebody told you, you watch something on TV or the article you read online. But I had the surgery, I had the videos, I had the pictures. You see me, you know how long it took me from to recover from that. So at the end of the day, that's politics is personal. You could believe whatever it is that you want to believe, but don't try to force it down on me. It pains me because these are close by relatives. But, you know, at the end of the day, family is family, and I'll be there if they need my help for something. I'll still be there for them, regardless of their political views.
You're a more generous and forgiving man than me. Sergeant Gonell, thank you for your time, thank you for your service, and thank you for coming on Mehdi Unfiltered today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Did you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on notifications. For exclusive content and to support our independent, unfiltered journalism, head over to Zeteo.com. Your support matters.